Good morning. Up nice and early. No thanks to an extremely loud, annoying bird. But we got a long 21-mile day anyway, so it's good to be up and out. I think it's like 6:30. So, feet are ready. I'm ready. Got a long day going. Let's get to it. So it was pretty warm last night. Probably like 58 or so. And it's gonna be hot today, like hot and sunny. Probably 80 plus degrees. And water for like the first 12 miles is gonna be kind of limited. I think there's only one real water source between that distance. So that's another incentive to kind of push as quick as I can in the morning. And then I think the second half of the day, water is a little more readily available, but I think the shelter itself has no water. So I gotta do a water carry for like the last 2 or 3 miles. So that's the current water situation. I think I just ran into a mama turkey and a bunch of baby turkeys or something. There's like a dozen little ones and they all just flew up into the trees. And there's a mama turkey right there in the trail. I think I scared the crap out of them. Running down the hill now. This is the Reed Creek campsite area that I was gonna be aiming for yesterday, but never made it this far. I still had like another 3.5 miles to go or so. But it looks like here's Reed Creek down here. I'm gonna top up on some water. So far I haven't seen any ticks. I've been doing pretty good tick checks and stuff, especially as it's been getting later into the season. Apparently up north in Pennsylvania they're really bad. But down here I haven't seen a single one yet, and neither has any of the other guys I've been around. But right now, that's all I can think about is ticks. There could be millions of them in stuff like this. No cows in the cow pasture, but it is hot and exposed. The sun's just beating down. Feels like it's already in the upper 70s at least. Finally getting out of this field on the north end. This is where all the cows are at. They're hiding up here in the shade. There's a little one just laying right there. Ooh, yeah, it's a little hot. I saw this in the gut hook comments about a bridge being closed 5.5 miles or so from here. Could be knee deep. Cool, we'll see that when we get there. I think I hear a cicada. I just stopped. That was the second one I've heard. Coming up on the Not Mall shelter. I feel like it's been a long morning. I think it's only just a little past noon. Looks like some people up here. This one's also known as the Darth Maul shelter. Back on trail after like a half-hour rest at the Not Mall shelter. I think we got like 9.5 miles left till we get to the Chestnut Knob, which will be destination for tonight. And it's up on top of a mountain, and there should be really cool like sunrise, sunset views from up there. So I really want to get to that shelter. It's just my feet are already at the point where they're starting to hurt. And there's going to be at least a 2-mile water carry. There's a couple of water sources, but I'm trying to see what's the last reliable one before we load up with extra weight and then have to climb up a mountain to get to the top. We made it to Lick Creek. And there is definitely where the bridge is out. Finally get to ford a river. There's so many bridges out here, you could probably do the whole trail without ever getting your feet wet. Excluding the rain, of course. So you could probably do this without even getting your feet wet here, but I'm going to take my shoes off anyway, and this will give me an excuse to soak my feet for a little bit. Ooh, that's nice and cold. That actually feels kind of good. Looks like they got like a safety line here in case it was really deep and you still tried to do it and needed the extra handholds or something. But this is not even, it's like a foot deep. Okay, I'm just gonna chill here and soak for a bit. That felt like a nice break. And then we got 6 miles to go, all uphill. I feel like soaking my feet in the water really did some good. Moving right along in this part. There were some steep bits here, but I'll take these flat, smoother bits when they come. It's pretty nice. Just try to push it as quick as I can. Looks like there was a fire up here recently, and it still has that campfire kind of smell, like maybe it happened a week or so ago. I'm on top of the mountain clearing now. Over there looks like the pond. That should be the last water source before the chestnut knob shelter. There should be a piped spring that's flowing into it, so I'm not taking stagnant pond water, but I'll see what I can find. Not much views yet. Maybe a little bit further up. We got this high altitude meadow going on. Alright, back on trail for the last stretch. We're all filled up with water. It was cool seeing the bees hanging around that area, getting their fill of water as well. But the longer I was there, the more inquisitive they became as to why I was stealing their water supply. Luckily, I did not get stung, but right at the end there, I knew I had to get out of there. Alright, this last push, less than 2 miles. Of course the last half mile is going to be like this. Why wouldn't it? Finally made it. There it is. Chestnut Knob Shelter. The reason it looks so cool is it's actually an old converted fire warden's cabin. Great spot with great views. Cool on the inside. I cannot believe nobody's here. I think there was a couple people that were aiming here, but they either moved on or I got ahead of them. This is definitely as far as I'm going though. Here's the view from the shelter up to the northeast. If you notice, this area is kind of like in a bowl, like a big caldera, with this ringed ridge all around it. I wish I could remember some of the details, but something like formed due to the geology of the area underneath it, kind of collapsed and caved down. So it kind of created this natural little bowl area. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. So far I've got the whole shelter to myself, and I'm just tucked in right there on the bottom. I'm going to see if I can enjoy maybe a good sunset later when the sun goes down. Finish editing for today, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning. I had a lovely night last night. There ended up being one other guy that showed up. He tented outside, so I had the whole cabin to myself still. And the temperatures were really nice. It was probably like upper 50s. And speaking of the weather, the next like 7 to 10 day forecast is going to be kind of hot and cloudy, and afternoon thunderstorms in the potential. So it's kind of like that 50% chance of rain all day. So we may get rained on, we may not. If we do, it may kind of pass in 15 minutes as just like this big afternoon rainstorm. So we'll kind of see how it develops. And water in this section is definitely kind of getting few and far between. There should be some at about a mile from here at the bottom of this hill. And then the next reliable water source after that, I think, was like 10 miles away or something. Anyway, we got another long day. I'm looking for a stealth site somewhere around 19 to 20 miles from here. And I just realized last night as I was looking ahead at some of the planning, but there's a little store which is like 3 miles further than my intended campsite. And they open at like 8 in the morning, and they have food and breakfast items and stuff there. So I can get a good breakfast tomorrow morning. So that'll be the plan for that. That'll be kind of cool. Today should be kind of neat because we should be walking along this ridge line, which overlooks down into the geological depression area off to the left. Hopefully we'll get some intermittent good views down there. But we'll be ridge walking for a long time today, I think. Trail is mildly rocky, constant little ups and downs, and no views. Just crossed a small road crossing. Ugh. Looks like there's some water cache trail magic here. Please take plastic bag wood shavings to Jenkins Privy. Yeah, I saw something similar to this for the Darth Maul one, but there was no, they were out of wood shavings, so I'll check this one out. Yeah, that bin was empty, so no extra shavings for the Jenkins Privy. For some reason this area kind of reminds me of like a Jurassic Park forest or something. There's some interesting geology going on. And I just like how it's kind of all open. And all the ferns everywhere. So I just had something kind of weird happen. I was just thinking about, so I mentioned earlier that where I'm going to be camped is 3 miles away from where there's like a small store or something where I can get breakfast for tomorrow morning. So I was just thinking about breakfast and just daydreaming about, you know, possibilities of what they could have and thinking about food and stuff. It's like, oh, maybe I could get a Danish. And then I thought, maybe I could get a coffee. And as soon as I thought of coffee, I smelled it really intensely, like a fresh brewed cup of coffee, really strong. It just had a really intense smell to it. And it snapped me out of my daydream. And I was like, Where's that coffee smell coming from? It was just so weird that, like, I thought of coffee, and then I instantly started smelling coffee. It was like a really intense smell. It was really weird. Have you guys ever had something like that? It was kind of cool, though. I guess it was all just, like, weird triggered emotion smell response. That was kind of cool, though. Hunting Camp Creek Wilderness. You know what that sound is? I got my first rattlesnake. Walked right past him. Luckily he was, I don't know what that is, less than 10 feet from the trail. Classic tail up and everything. That is awesome. First rattlesnake. That's as close as I'm getting. Made it to the split off for the Jenkins shelter. Point one up here, I think. We're definitely taking a break. Here's a basic little thing. The Jenkins shelter. Alright, leaving the Jenkins shelter. I think next milestone is going to be in about 4.5 hours. Correction, 4.5 miles. We'll be passing a good-sized creek stream area. Good place to soak my feet. I think I'll take a good rest break there. And that could be the last water source until I get to my designated stealth site. So it's going to be like potentially a 4-mile water carry, I think. And the first like 10 plus miles today were all rocky. There's finally a section where I can just speed up and make back up some time in miles. Starting to get those intermittent afternoon rain showers. So far it's just pretty light. Well, I just passed Laurel Creek. I was intending to stop there and soak my feet some, but there's like 100 people down there and a really annoying yappy dog. So I'm pressing on. I think there's another stream crossing in like a 1/4 mile or so. So I'll check that out and see if I can soak my feet there for a little bit at least. Then that'll be the last water source. And we'll have like a 4-mile heavy water carry. Alright, filled up on the last of the water. We got an uphill climb and then a ridgeline walk. And then we'll be there. Find a stealth site. Just gotta struggle and get there. Well, I'm up on the ridgeline now. I got a little bit of cell service, so I just called the Weary Feet Hostel, see if they had availability for tomorrow night, and they did, just in their whatever their basic bunk room setup is. So I got myself locked in for that. I don't know what their prices are. It's probably like anywhere from, I don't know, 30 bucks or so, give or take a little bit. But I confirmed that they do have, they cook a dinner and a breakfast at their place. So tomorrow is going to be awesome. Just a little bit further till finding some stealth sites. And I made it to a stealth site with a view. Not really a stealth site, just some one tent campsite. It's not expected to be windy, so I think the rock setup is going to hold. It's no wind right now, no wind expected for tonight. Ground is way too hard to put stakes in, so I think that's going to work. I'm going to finish getting set up here in a little bit. But definitely a nice view. I think that's out to the west, so we should get a nice sunset here later. Alright, all my chores are done, everything's set up, ready for the night. I'm hiding in my tent because it's like really buggy out here. There's a lot of little biting flies and other type of insects and stuff crawling around, so I'm just going to hide in my tent for the rest of the night, I think. I feel like we're making a big push to Petersburg here. We're getting a lot of 20-mile days knocked out. Tomorrow's going to be another 21-mile a day, I think, until I get to the Weary Feet Hostel. Tomorrow will be kind of fun. I'll get to stop at a grocery for some breakfast and stuff, and then we'll have a full cooked dinner and stuff at the hostel when we get there. And water is definitely going to be short again for tomorrow. There's going to be a big 10-plus mile stretches between where there's no water. I think after tomorrow, though, we start getting into some normal water areas, at least for a little bit, but we'll see what it actually looks like. Anyway, I'm going to say goodnight for here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.